and welcome everybody to the Daily Creative Challenges in Adobe Illustrator. I'm your host, Julia Masalska. Thanks everybody for joining here. I can see a lot of familiar faces. We have Gaz and Laura and everybody joining here. Nourish is here. Yay! Everybody's excited for the Daily Creative Challenges, and me too. Thanks everybody for joining. I'm so excited. Yeah, guys, let's do this. Awesome. So friends, let me know if you all are excited about the summer, excited about the COVID vaccines finally being available and finally going out and doing stuff outside with the great weather. So let me know in the chat what you all are up to this summer. We have Andre also joining, and Fabio and Wade. Awesome. If you are joining us from YouTube, make sure to head over to be.net/live. This is where I'm going to be reading the chat, and you can also ask questions. So friends, for all of you who are new here, make sure to join us on our Discord. Here is the link. It's bit.ly/A Discord. This is where we are all hanging out and doing stuff together. And this is also where you can submit your daily creative challenges. So make sure to go to this link, and I'm sure it will be here shared in the chat as well. All right, so daily creative challenges. This series of challenges is going to be super exciting. It's going to be all about summer, ice cream, colors, being experimental, trying out new tools. So I'm super happy to be hosting these for the upcoming 2 weeks. So we are going to have lots of fun together. Now let's jump onto our daily creative challenge page, where you can access all the challenges and all the starter files, right? So this is the Daily Creative Challenge page on behance.net/challenge/illustrator. This is where you can access all the challenge files, and this is where you can also rewatch the videos of the upcoming challenges. Tomorrow we're starting with challenge number 1, and I'm super excited and stoked to introduce you tomorrow to challenge number 1. And some of you might have seen in my Instagram stories that there will be a lot of really cool assets that I've created for you to work along and to, create alongside me. Cool. Faiza is here from Pakistan, and Rafa is here. Awesome. Thanks, Wade, for sharing the link. Make sure to check out the page, and also here you can click take the challenge, and you can also set up yourself email reminders on the upcoming challenges. And here we also have the community chat, which is the Discord channel that I was showing the link to before. So this is the same link here as you will find here when you click join the community chat. So Discord, super fun. This is our platform where we share all of our work in the challenge feedback. So you can see there are a lot of different channels in our platform. Here we have the feedback, the challenge feedback hashtag, where you can submit your past challenges. And this series of challenges looks like it was super fun. I can see a lot of really cool submissions here. Thanks everyone for participating and for learning. We have Nadia here in challenge number 4. Wow, this looks really cool. And in a similar vibe, in this similar energy, we want to continue with this series. And this series, as I said, is going to be all about having all the colorful assets that I've created for you. Now, if you're new to Illustrator, let's jump right into this and let's take a look at what we've got, what we are going to be working with. So, this is the Illustrator starting page. So whenever you download and open Illustrator, this is what it's going to be looking like. As you can see here, some of my past projects, there's a lot of really fun stuff here. But you can click here onto learn as well, and here you can get some really cool tutorials and some in-app learning things. Oh, these one are actually in the browser, but we also have some in-app learning videos and tutorials but there are more coming soon. But let's create a new file here, and I'm clicking on create new, and as you can see, we have a lot of really cool presets already popping up here. And we have some for web, some for print. So those are the ones that I use the most, but you can also, if you are into illustration, there are also some presets for art and illustration, and they come in poster format or postcard format. So if you are an illustration designer, this is going to be super cool for you to check out. But we also have some templates down here, so if you don't feel, or if you don't know where to start, this is a great starting point. All right. Cool. So let's open a new file, and in this case we're going to be working for web, and the main difference between working for web and for print is, you can find it down here, and let me know in the chat if you know what's the difference. I'd like to know what's the difference between creating a file for web or creating a file for print. What's the main kind of setting that's super important? Hi Ashraful. Hi Michelle, greetings from Los Angeles, awesome. Hi Z by HP. And Mayur, what is your process while working for clients who don't have true tones on their displays? Never had that issue before. Usually, yay, we have Mayur already shooting the right answer, RGB versus CMYK. So those are the two different color modes we can access working either for web, so for the screen, or working for print. So it means digital print color, right? So the color on the screen is shown in a different way than the color when it's being printed. So when you look at the print, you can see that we have the color mode set to CMYK. CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and key for black. Those are the 4 colors digital printers produce when they print your color that you see on the screen. And the color on the screen is put together by RGB, red, green, and blue colors. Let me know in the chat if you all are new to this or if you knew this already. And also we have points per inch, pixels per inch versus points per inch in print. Okay, so before we set up our file, of course we can go in, let's say we're setting it up for print, we can go in and adjust the measurements the way we want them. Do we want to have feet and inches, or are you from Europe and like centimeters and millimeters? That works too. Okay, and if you go onto web, you'll be still able to find all of that, but mostly when you work for web, you work in pixels. Okay, now we can determine the width and the height, and what I like to do is I like to work in web large format. 1920 by 1080 fills up a good portion of the screen without being pixelated, so it's a really good resolution if you're designing for web, meaning pretty large format, but not large enough to occupy a lot of space on your computer, right? So 1920 by 1080 also is an amazing proportion for presentations. So if you have a presentation that's supposed to fill the screen, 1920 and 10 by 1080 is the way to go. All right, so we have 1920 by 1080 set up. We can adjust the amount of artboards. And what I like to do is, so let's say we have 10 artboards, I like to go into advanced options. And I like to go into more settings. And here, what you can do is you can prepare your Behance project in a very useful and logic way for previewing it while designing. And I'm gonna show you how. So let's say, we're going to call this Behance project. Behance project. All right, Behance project, and now you can determine the orientation of the artboards. So I have 10 artboards. How are they going to be distributed in my workspace? And I want to put them underneath each other, because if you have taken a look at Behance projects, they're basically a presentation of slides that goes one by one underneath each other. So I'm going to do that. And number of artboards, we have 10. Now what I want to do is I want to create a seamless presentation. So I want to remove all the spacing between the artboards so that my design flows from one artboard to the other. So I'm going to remove that and put that to 0. Okay. All right, now the bleed is only necessary for print documents. In this case, we're going to be designing for digital. And what I like to do is I also like to set the quality at 150 pixels per inch. So I'm going to create document. And now let's see what it's going to look like. I would like for you all to set up this file because I would like for us to create a whole Behance project with these 2 weeks so that you have a portfolio piece that you come out with in the end. So let me know who of you are going to create a Behance project out of this. And we have Brandon joining. Hi, Brandon Gross. He's teaching Adobe XD. He's also really awesome. We have Ellen Gomez joining and Midi. Hi, good to see you. Awesome. All right, so you can see now what I have, right? What I have is a series of artboards that are lined up underneath each other. Now, I can of course go in and use the artboard tool and go in and make them a little bit smaller, right? So I can still go in and make these artboards smaller. Let's say my cover page is only like a lengthy piece of artwork, is not supposed to fill the whole screen. So this is going to be my cover page, and I can use the rectangle tool and create a little colorful rectangle around it. And I'm going to remove the outline down here. So you can see we have the stroke and we have the fill, and I just removed the stroke, and I'm going to make the fill maybe like a charcoal black. But tomorrow you will be able to access a bunch of other assets that I've created for you. So they're going to be super fun to play with. And I would like for you, before we present the challenge for tomorrow, to play around with them, to experiment with them. Okay, so, and our Behance project is going to have a cover, and as you can see, as I scroll down, I have all of these artboards aligned up, right? That means that I can preview my project while creating in it, while designing in it. That's what I like to do for to create kind of a nice preview of my artboards and how they're going to work out together. And also it will help me to export my artwork in the way that I want it to appear in my Behance project, right? So I can go ahead and make something really fun here. I can create a rectangle that goes all along the artboards, and I can create a really awesome flow between my artboards. For example, what I can do is, now I have created a rectangle, and I can use a pencil tool. Where is that? Okay, here it is. So pencil tool or the shortcut N, right? So I can use the pencil tool, and I'm just drawing a random line. I'm going to make it white so you can see it. So I'm going to create a wavy line that goes across all of this, right? So I'm just going to create this wavy line. There we go. Can you see that? And now what I can do is, now I'm basically creating a flow between all of these artboards, and I'm going to select both of these, the line and the large rectangle that I've just created that flows all across the artboards, and I'm going into my properties panel, into my pathfinder, and here I'm going to go into the little 3 dots for more options, and here I'm going to select divide. All right, I'm going to click divide. What divide does is it basically is a kind of like a cookie cutter, right? So it cut the line that I've just created, the wavy line, into my rectangle. So now my rectangle is cut into 2 pieces, and you can see that when you go in here, double click and try to pull them apart, you can see that now we have these 2 really long pieces that I've created with that one and cut with that line that I've made with a pencil tool. All right, so now the fun part is select one of these halves and make it a different color. Now let's say I want to use like a nice light gray. So how cool is that? Now, if you can see, now scrolling through this project is way more fun, right? We have all of these cool parts of my presentation lined up and connected with this line. Now, of course, you can select your own color, the color that you want, and you can even remove half of it and just leave it in a very subtle way. And here we can even make the light gray color even lighter, just to create this very subtle connection that will draw your eye to the next artboard and the next artboard and the next artboard, right? So this is something really fun to do. Bruce is saying super cool effect. Yay! Ashraful is saying super cool. Yes, it's very simple, but it will help you to create your presentation from scratch and you know, kind of start off in the right way of putting together all of the different things that you're going to be creating. Now we have 10 artboards. This should be more than enough for us, and we have all the freedom to kind of put all of these things together. All right, so who's excited to see the assets that we're going to be working with? Let me know in the chat, and let me know if you are going to be creating a Behance project. I would love for you to create a Behance project. So, all right, let's see. Cool. All right, so let me know in the chat if you're going to be creating let me close that. I'm not sure why I'm not able to open that. Okay, let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I guess it will stay a surprise until tomorrow. But you guys can definitely access the file early in the morning. But what I would like for you to do today is I would like for you to kind of put yourself together a color scheme. And one way to do that is to get some inspiration. And also, of course, color scheme and maybe even find the right fonts. So let's go to fonts.adobe.com and let's take a look, do some research on what fonts we can use for our festival tomorrow. Fonts.adobe.com. And so fonts.adobe.com contains a super large library of fonts that you can use for your projects, and those fonts are all free and part of your Creative Cloud subscription. All right, so here on the left side we can see all the different tags, meaning we can see the different styles of fonts that we have. We have clean, geometric, art deco, funky, yes, that's what we want. So our brand is going to be all about a funky summer ice cream festival. It's going to be all about ice cream and colors. So here I have these two fonts that I've already activated, and I would like for you to do the same. So we have Epitaph and we have Synthemesque. Those two fonts we're going to be using in our project, right? So let me go in to Illustrator and activate them and see if they should be here. Okay, so we can go into properties and look for them. Epitaph. Yay, that one is already here. And I think that one is a really awesome font. I think that font is just so fun. Let me go back and type. So we're going to type in ice cream festival. Okay, you might not see this, but it is there. Okay, and I'm going to make this white. So I'm going into my fill and I'm going to make this completely white. There we go. How cool is that font, right? Now, if you type in capitals, which I just did, is something very different than if you type in lowercase, because this font has it has a variety of different characters that either we can type in capital or lowercase. All right, so if I type in lowercase, this is what it's going to look like. Ice cream festival, and you can see some of the letters start, you know, having a different appearance. For example, the E this is lowercase, and this is capital letter. So, and the C's as well. And if we look at the O, for example, the O's will also have this same setup like the C. How fun is that, right? So we have that. Let's make that really large. So I'm going into properties, and I'm going to make it 72. For now, we're just experimenting. We're just downloading the fonts that we need to have for our project. So the first one is Epitaph. Ooh, okay. That was a fun scroll through my fonts. Let's see. Epitaph. There we go. Cool. And here, what I like to do is when I'm exploring fonts, font options, I like to create copies. So I would take this object with the text in it and click Option, hold Option, click Shift. So hold Option and Shift, click and drag to the side, and I've created a copy of this text, of the same text box. Now, what I like to do is I like to apply a new font to this same exact text. So let's take a look back at what we've got. We have Synthemesque. By the way, Synthemesque stands for synthetic mescaline, and I'm assuming it's some type of drug, which is really interesting for a font name choice. But how fun is this, right? Now, what I would also like for you to know is that you can create really fun elements for yourself as well. I'm going to provide you with some design elements tomorrow in the starter file, but you can also create yourself some of your own, and it is actually very easy. So what you can do is a very simple smiley. We're using the ellipse tool, and we're designing an ellipse right there. Right now it's in the same color as the background, but I'm going to use the eyedropper with the letter I, and I'm going to select the same color as the font. All right, so we're going to hold Option and Shift and create a copy of it. Option, Shift, drag to the side. Okay, so now we already have the eyes for our smiley. Now we're going into our pencil tool, and we're going to swap the fill with the stroke. So now that we have the fill being empty and the stroke being white, right? So this is what we want. But we had this object selected, that's why it's swapped for the object. Right now we want to deselect everything. And I'm going to swap the white outline again. And I'm going to use the pencil tool, and I'm going to draw a smiley face. All right, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't want to make it geometrically symmetric or anything like that. So the more imperfect, actually, the better. And another cool tip here is, if you want to do that and get a somewhat decent curve without trying too hard, you can double click. So I'm here in the pencil tool, I'm double clicking it, and here you can see we have pencil tool options. So we have the smoothest, which makes a very smooth line, right? Let's try the medium smooth. Now, if I draw, it's going to be more accurate, and you can see my curve is not as perfect anymore. Now, let's try the most accurate one, and I want to show you the difference. And the most accurate one is the most crooked one, as you can see. So I like to put the fidelity on very high. Right, so I've created this curve by using smooth fidelity. All right, okay, and now what do we need? We need little bumps here that happen when you smile, right? Your cheek kind of squeeze together, and you get little cheeks here. All right, cool. Look, we have our smiley already set. Now let's we can see that the outline is quite thin, so let's select all of these by clicking and holding Shift. I'm selecting all of these objects, and on the right side I have my properties panel open, which you can activate if you go to Window and Properties. All right, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going here into the stroke, and I'm going to make the stroke larger. I'm going to make it more bold. All right, so maybe 4 point. 4 point should be good. And now we can zoom out and see if it works. Yay, it works. Cool. Now, so my task for you today is to download the fonts Synthemask Regular and Epitaph. And tomorrow we are going to have a starter file that I'm going to provide you with that you can use to access everything else that I have there. I also have a smiley face here, but first of all, I would like for you to set up the project the way I have it here with all of the artboards kind of lined up. And I'm super excited to jump into challenge number 1 tomorrow, same time, same place. So thanks everybody for joining and have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Together.